And they're like, oh, we have great bank loans with RBC and Scotiabank for $275,000. I was like, mic drop. I cannot. No one, like, who can afford that? Like, it's.
So what's up, Ori? I know it's a little bit different right now. You know, we're back at the Hummussiah, but, you know, things might be a little out of place. We might look a little different. We might look older, especially you. I'm sorry. You know,
old. I think I have a gray hair, too.
Do you? I found one on my beard somewhere recently. Oh, yeah, I know. But welcome to the Edible Talk, Ep.4. Today, we'll be trying a few different meals from the Hummussiah. It will be, some great dishes that look amazing. And from there, we'll be discussing a lot of different topics, but mainly about education and about the systems in place for our societies. And to start it off, Ori, how do you feel about the elections? I know there's been a lot of talk, a lot of stuff, but Trump, regarding, Trump, Biden, these elections, and then going back to the Canadian, right? Because U.S. affects Canadians and, the U.S. is, like, as a lot of people say, is the central of the world, right? Yeah. So they have the most power per se, but, depends how you look at it. But how do you think the economy with, this whole thing and kind of going back to the Canadian? It's a heavy. We got to start heavy.
Heavy question.
You got to start somewhere, bro.
All right, let's get into this. So I don't want to get too political, but I feel like the current situation in the States it's getting bleak and it's kind of gloomy and sad what's happening down there. A lot of death. I can't attribute it to one person, but there's a whole system that's fractured, I think, in the States, and it needs to be really, really looked at. As a comparison to Canada, we have a lot less people. There's a lot less death, obviously, because there's a lot less people living in Canada. I feel like I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not big into the medical scene, but I feel like there's steps that other countries have taken in order for them to succeed and kind of lower the rates of COVID in the state, in their home countries. In the States, it's kind of sad just seeing the numbers just go up and up and the death codes go up and up and up. And it's very sad to see that as like we're the neighbor just north of them.
Yeah, like we closed our borders on April, I think it is, and since then we haven't brought any people in, and it's a big difference, and especially like everything is very polarizing, I guess.
Yes.
With I think it's polarizing in every aspect from, the Canadian point of view or the U.S. point of view of like who the new power system is in place, right? Who's the right one? What is the right, the right individual? What is whatever it is? And it's so tricky because we can't really determine, what is right for a country, right? The true. Voting system and, there's different voting systems in the US versus Canadian. And, they don't do by majority vote. They do by majority of states or majority of
electoral college.
Yeah. So, it's super different and like what's going to happen. And, in Canada, we're not having our election for another 3 years, right? It's 2023. So, or is that 4 years? Sorry, 4 years. Is that what it is? I think 2023 is when we're having an election. So it's like 3 to 4 years out. I feel like the
states right now, I feel like it's just, if you can vote, go vote. I think it's really important.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a primary thing. Like if you're over the age of 18, or is it 18?
18
I think in most states,
18.
I think it's all 18, right? So if you're over the age, the number one thing is you should go vote.
You do have a voice at the end of the day. And
100%.
This is not like a sponsored ad by like vote.com. This is literally just like
vote.com.
I don't know, vote.elections.com. Like just like you're a human, you're allowed to vote if you're
and you don't have to vote if you don't want to, but it is that is part of your not amendment, your
rights,
your constitution, constitutional rights. So it's very important to like take advantage of that, because there is funny enough, like those states, as I was just referring, like how it's different from Canada, it's like whoever votes the most amount of people, that's how it wins. But in the US, it's whoever wins the most segments, right? In states and all that. Like New York has like 37, or that's California, whatever. Even these places are smaller, but they're more dense population, so they split it up per people. Yeah. And I think some section lost by like 50 votes. And like, imagine, right? That could have changed the whole election, changed the whole view of the country, right?
And you can make a difference in the next time.
Yeah. And, you know, whoever you choose, that is your choice. We're not trying to be biased in any sense, because each candidate has their own platform, you know, platform,
their own ideas,
and each individual has their own point. And it's, you know, I think in general terms, it's crazy out there. There's it's like we're not in a war right now, but it feels like the pandemic is like an ongoing battle. And I think this kind of like goes into our topic about like the educational system and how businesses are kind of unfolding with COVID, right? And the number one thing that is being affected out of this whole election and whatever, but especially COVID, is our schooling system, right? Our schooling system right now, like there are people in the US that still haven't gone to school since March. They still have not stepped into a school since March. Yes. And then I also heard I was talking to some people in the US who are still in high school, and they were saying that their parents were supposed to go to school for September, but their parents no longer wants them. But they now want to do online, but the school won't accept them online. They're like, we're full. And I'm like, how can you be full by online? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
It's crazy just to hear, like, even I don't know, I can't speak for the States, but I have some friends that are even like university or college in Canada. And I think, it's a money grab. Like, I paid, $8,000 a year to go to Western, something insane, a lot of money. And we can get into the numbers afterwards. That doesn't have to be so specific, but like, it's a lot of money. And the universities are like, oh no, it's still a higher level of education, but you're not actually in school. Like, you're working.
Currently, you're saying?
Right now, you're paying the same amount of tuition.
Right, exactly.
The same amount of tuition.
And you're not getting the
same level. Like, you pay for, like, it sounds crazy. You pay for the plants at the university campus. You pay for every single thing that's there. It's part of the tuition, part of the experience of being. It's a beautiful campus. So it's crazy for an institution. And they're like, it's totally reasonable to charge X amount of money, but you're like, people are working online, and some people can't work online. They have to be in a classroom with their peers so that they can learn. Basically, it's true.
Right.
And that's how I feel more comfortable. Like, I don't like looking at the screen as much as I like being in person,
100%.
Touching the diagrams, depending on what subject you're in. So it's hard if you actually are in a trade, like if you're a nurse. Oh, we're just going to do an IV to yourself online through the camera? Like, how do you do this? Like,
it's funny because I was just talking, I got a massage the other day, right? And she's in her third year of becoming a chiropractor, right? So she's a masseuse, but she's also getting the chiropractor thing. So she's in her third year, and she says, our third year, you're supposed to have a little bit hands-on, but she says, lucky for me, it's not the main hands-on is your fourth year. So like, for her, it's kind of interesting to see that, how is she going to be like more engaged? Like, will everything go back to normal next year? Because she's in her third year, right? And she did say that there are, like, you can go to some places that, like, there are, like schools, not, I guess, like schools that you practice on. But then also for this practicing, they bring people, like regular people like you and I, being like, you pay like a fraction of the cost,
that's true.
And they do it on you. So now, are they bringing you in? Is it the same thing? Is it what's going on? Are they doing it on themselves now?
Partially, I feel bad for the people that are going through school and expecting to get like engineering degrees and not being able to be in the sim, or being able to be in a situation where they learn hands-on.
Yeah, I mean, I think
don't you feel it's kind of like, it's not, I don't want to get too much into it, but it's something I feel it's a little bit unfair to people that are paying all this money. And they're going into school, like, looking for that university experience, but they actually can't get the university experience.
Like, if you're in your, this is a main thing. Like, imagine you're in your first year. You just came out of high school, right? You're in high school. You're used to face-to-face, your teacher, 30 people in a class and thing. And then out of the blue, you're like, nope, you got to do everything online now. And it's like I remember just for me alone, I was doing okay in school. Like my high school year, I did like, I think high 80s, low 90s kind of thing. I was lucky that, I double tried hard. But then in university, as soon as I got there, I tried the same amount that I did in high school, but it wasn't enough because my marks went down to a 70, right?
And that's normal.
That's normal.
65 is like people what they get. It's like, I was like, I remember in high school, we went to the same high school, funny enough. And one of my English teacher at the time was like, you get an 85 in high school, but go to university, your marks are going to go down 20%. I was like, nah, that's not true.
It was like 10 to 15%
I went
on average.
to university. I'm not the smartest guy, but still, I worked hard enough to get decent grades. I got like a 68. I was like, everyone around me.
I think that was my average, 68 or 69.
62. And it progressed. I went from like, first year was like a 71. Next year was like a 72.
You did better than me.
Than 73. No, like I literally progressed because you became more familiar with how the system works. And that's basically what I think we want to get into. Like the system, you kind of understand how the system works eventually. Like the kids are kind of hacking it in high school. They go, this is how it works. I feel like that's what I kind of like was able to understand how to progress through it.
I think, yeah, as you were saying, like it's how we're going to get back to a normal way, and how teachers are going to be creative to like educate their students. Because if it's the same way as university, like, don't get me wrong, in university, a lot of it is hands-on, right? You do have your classes are 45 to an hour and a half long, or 3 hours, depending on whatever it is. But at the same time, it's like, at least when you're there and you're like, hey, teacher, can you help me with this one question, these two questions? You can like help them out. Like you can get some help. But now, like, what do? Send it online, and then he doesn't even send you a verbal response or a video response. It's just like,
maybe they do send a video. So I doubt they do
it.
That.
No way.
Funny enough.
Hey, how you doing? So the multiplication of 2 times 2 is 4. This is how you do it. 1, 2 times this equals this.
They have Khan Academy for that. It's like one of those free websites. And they're actually great.
Those are great.
But it doesn't have every single question.
Do that? No way.
Honestly, I went to university and I had a good time. I had a great experience. The education itself, yes, it was a good school. How many professors that I actually remember their names? Isn't that kind of sad? Like, I don't remember them. And it's actually really important because there's one professor who, to this day, I will remember her name because she helped me so much. Her name is Trina. Wow, I can't speak English. Trina Ruthis.
Okay.
She was my first year business 1220 professor. And she was the one that kind of inspired me to start like a clothing company. She was a kind of the woman that was like, this is how you do the basic business tools. And she was the kind of lady that just pushed me to do it. And I remember her name. I remember who she is because...
Of course, she made an impact. She made a personal impact.
She was able to like help me in office hours and stuff like that. And it's important.
Because like, so lucky enough for me, right? I told you I was the president of the Commerce Council. I was the president of the Jewish Student Association. I was also on the Commerce Council, and I was in the commerce. I was in the commerce degree, right? That was my degree, the commerce to business degree, right? Depending if you know what commerce or business and admin, right? So I was lucky to know all my professors. Like I know them till this day, I would say most of them, because I worked with them one by one a lot of different ways, and I knew a lot of students as well. But yeah, no, I know some of them. Like Luc, his name is Luc Legrand. Yes, he's French.
Francophone?
Francophone, and
nice.
He was a really nice guy. He was part of the business. He was part of. Have you ever heard of the Cypher or ACE? Cypher Ace, or I think now
like the Ace like department, like the home hardware store. Ace, like
no. It's like a system that they take business students and they put them in real world situations, and you have to solve this, and then you go to competitions. And you like, so he was
like DECA or something like that, like where you go into like different competitions. Same idea.
Same, and there's engineering. They have this in a lot of different ones, but this is like a separate company. There's a new name to it. I think it's called Entropy or something, but whatever it is. But he was part of it, and I was a part of it originally. Like the names changed over the years, but him and I worked together. But we also worked on plans together, like changing the system, changing this, right, to make things better for the students. And he was really like hard on to it. Like he really wanted to like make changes, right? He wanted to make the best experience for the students.
Do you think, looking back at your university days, do you think getting a job now, it really makes a difference on how good your degrees were?
I mean, that's what you're paying for, right? I think after you and I went to university, I think we know what a degree is. A degree. So there's multiple things towards school, right? The first thing is you get educated, right? In the sense that you educate yourself to understand how to put pressure on yourself.
True.
When you're never used to this, right? You're independent. You're most like I don't know. I think it's like 50% of students move out of their parents' place,
which is so, like. So maybe the numbers aren't actually accurate. We don't know.
Right.
Like it's a huge percentage.
It's a huge percent. But
leave home
whoever the percentage of people leave home, they have to learn how to be independent, how to cook their food, how to budgetary their money.
Going out,
$500 a week. Yeah, or a month. If you have $500 a month, you can't go out. That's it. Like
people. I remember talking to some of my res friends. I'm like, "Oh, you're going out?" Like some people went out 4 nights or 5 nights around. I'm like, "You're insane."
I'm like, I don't have money for that.
First of all, money, your liver. and like just spending.
Oh, you're saying drinking? Yeah, that's a whole different.
Out drinking,
you're talking about
etc. Like just even just being out, like the fact that you're not studying or not sleeping or not working out, and you're just going out. Yes, there's people that do everything at all once, and I respect them a lot because they probably are tired at the end of the day. It's universities. You have to. I think it really shows you how to time manage.
Right.
It's the first time in your life where you aren't dependent on other people.
Right.
And that's something that I feel university, it teaches you how to grind. It teaches you like that. I have an assignment due in a week and a half from now. I need to set aside 4 days this week to do it because I have another assignment 2 weeks from now.
Right.
And it's like overload. And the university experience is great. Like you don't have to go to class depending on what class you're in.
I mean, my school, my part of my degree, I had to attend 80% of all classes or I automatically fail. But
that's different because Western's a huge university campus, huge university experience. So like we can get into it, but the bigger classes, like 800 students would be in a class.
Right.
They're not going around roll calling how many is Bob in, is Ori in, is John in.
I'm trying to remember if that was in my first year.
In the smaller classes are in second year I had this anatomy class. And it was like a basically a roll call, and there'd be like 25 people. And I think that's for me a better way of learning. And kids now in high school, they're gone down to the cohorts of A and B, like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. I think it's good, but you can't see your friends in the other cohorts. Yeah, it's kind of an issue what's happening, right?
But like I think they should have like a way to sign yourself in every time, right? Because I think it's really important to make these students like force them like you have to come to class, and if you lose more than 80% of your class, you automatically fail.
Yeah,
like
some was like 10% participation. I remember that in some classes.
There's that, but no, mine is like it was like if you miss more than 20% of classes. So like depending if you had a 3-hour class, so 3-hour classes, I think you have only 12 to 15 classes a semester versus if it's a 1.5, it's like 24. So we'll say 12 and 24, right? So if you miss 20%, that's pretty much if you miss more than 3 classes, you automatically fail the class.
Which I think is good and bad. It keeps you on the ball in the sense that if you miss a class,
I mean, because then you'll need a sick note, right? If you're on those other days, you don't. Then you're like, hey, sorry, I was sick, but like
3-hour class,
it's hard.
It's hard, and now it's like we can go into this as well.
Now imagine
transition
3 hours
on Zoom. I've done it for like an hour. I'm like,
take off your camera, take off your mic.
Head hurts. My head hurts on you. When I did a Zoom call, I was like, this is ridiculous. This is too much time, and it's 3 hours. People work every single day on Zoom day long, every day.
And then you imagine like, so, lucky for me, I have a whole system over here to the left of us, right?
Has that.
But not everyone. Some people has a 13-inch Mac, right? Or an iPad they're doing it
like that. And then their neck
and
hurts.
look how small the camera is, right? Or they're doing it off their phone, right? Like, does everyone even have a computer? Like, I'm being serious at this point, right?
Can't afford an iPad. It's like $500. And that's like a premium device. And there's other devices that tablets.
But that's even on the cheap side, like in the sense that we are lucky to have that because most people like an iPad is pretty easy to do versus the $1,000 MacBook or $1,000 Windows PC. And what happened during the beginning of the pandemic, all cameras were sold out. You couldn't buy a camera. The normal
cameras, toilet paper, guns, everything was sold out. It's been a whirlwind of a year. Thank God we're almost going to 2021, and hopefully next year is going to be a better year.
But the funny thing is, where we're talking about degrees and the matters for them, I think that there's like your marks and what your marks matter towards it. And I think in the end we kind of notice that these days, like, if you get a passing degree, right? Because like some of them you need a 70 average, 75, 80, but some you just need as low as a 60, right? Like you're just a barely passing rate. So what am I saying?
Have you ever heard the expression C's get degrees?
C's, yeah, exactly.
And people laugh. It's the truth of a lot of friends that have gotten great jobs out there. Right. Fantastic jobs, working for big companies, making good money. And they had a 75? At university, it's a little different. It's like considered a B, which is good, but you don't have to have the highest marks. If you want to go to grad school, do a master's of some sorts, it does make a difference.
It does, but then again, it doesn't because there's 2 ways to get around that: work experience or doing a GMAT and getting 99%.
How about this? Connections.
Or connection. Well, no, but I'm saying for masters, you can't always.
Yeah, true. No, you can't with masters, but like in general,
no. But in school, yes, works, in school,
yes, it helps to have degrees. It helps to have education because it's going to be the base for your success. But a lot of people that make good money don't have to have a degree, and it's important to go to maybe college.
Let's put it this way, right? my final graduating year, my school, the course that I did was very tough. That 2 years ago, they changed the whole system. They had to rechange it to a BBA because there was like a 70% failure rate or 80%.
Wow.
It was that tough because you had to have a specific average, and you had to have a specific, you had to have above a 70 on each of your classes. And if you don't have above 70, you automatically fail. And then if you don't, you can do it one more time, but if you fail a second time, they automatically kick you out of the system.
Do you feel that sometimes some degrees are like pushed more than others? Like Queen's Commerce or
that's
the
what I'm
Ivy.
saying.
And I'm like, why you go to Trent? What's the difference? Or Laurentian? What's going to be the difference?
But Laurentian, my Laurentian is the same as the Ivy League.
Exactly.
All my
but
books
the world is like,
look up there. All those books are Ivy League books, and those are the same books that are being used at Western, right? And that's why they changed the system, because people came there and like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to an Ivy League as an easier school. That's what people presumed, right? But in general terms, when they were there, they were like failing these classes because people weren't presuming it to be this tough. But it had a very high failure rate because it was super, super difficult for people to implement themselves. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Like. But then people get judged on that, right? Like
for sure. Even when you got to apply for a job, like, oh, exactly. You didn't go to Ivy, you didn't go to Queen's Commerce,
you didn't go to Queen's, you didn't go to McMaster's, you didn't go to UFT.
Commerce, like, come on.
But now Ryerson used to be a college, and now people are preferring
Polytechnic. Polytech.
Is that what it is? Polytech?
Yeah, Polytech,
right.
yeah.
And now it's a university.
It became a university recently.
And now people are like, oh, you went to university? I went to Polytech, and let's work together. Like, that's how people, like, and that's how it is. It's all connections.
And in the States, it's even funnier because you can talk about even like Boston College and Boston University. The name college, you think for Canada would be a college, but it's not. It's a university.
Yeah, it has to say community college.
Exactly.
That's our college.
And there's nothing wrong with
But funny enough, the college, like, it's called Harvard University, not Harvard College. So a lot of people just call it college. I think it's kind of like a term, the term, right? Slang. But a lot of these colleges are universities, and it's even in the title of their thing. But yeah, I think as you said, like in general terms, the jobs it's connections. Connections are number one thing, and then also like. It's funny, we talked about this the other day. It was about like immigrants, right? They come to this country with specific degrees, and you have a degree, you might be a doctor, right? You might be whatever. And these people are super educated, but what are they doing most likely these days?
They could be cleaning ladies. It's
cleaning ladies. That's what my mom did.
Drivers.
My mom
where was your mother from? What did
my mom, like in the USSR back in the day, Russia, right? She has a degree in multiple, like medicine, into chemistry, into like pharma, like
she's a doctor.
Yeah, she's an
MD. She's an MD back in Russia.
Exactly.
Cool.
So, and then she has 2 masters, and she has a bachelor degree, right? So like, just imagine that progress, right? And coming into the country, and like being like, hey, okay, cool. I'll just be a nurse. Like, don't make me a doctor. Just make me a nurse. I used to be a doctor, but I'll take a nurse. And they're like, yeah, if you want to become a nurse, you have to go to school for 4 years. My mom's like, excuse me? I have 4 kids. Like, how am I going to go to school?
Did she speak English at the time as well? Was she fluent?
No.
Because a lot of times,
of course,
a lot of times people come in and they speak fluent English. And it's easier for them to say, yes, I would like to.
But even if you had 4 kids, right?
No, it doesn't make sense. With no money, you come with like nothing probably, or little bit of money, a little savings. So a new country, it's foreign to you.
Back then she wasn't able to because there was restrictions on taking money out of the country. They didn't let you do that. So like, it's funny because China has a similar thing. Like you can't take it out. Now it's a little bit different, but there was a lot of restrictions back in the day. The governments are like, don't take our money out of our country because this is the money created inside our country. So if you take the money out of our country, you're having like a GDP loss.
I flew to Cuba.
Right.
And my first time ever in Cuba. And I remember our tour guy was like, please do not take any currency out of the country. I was like, currency? Like, why would I take currency? I took like a $5 bill.
Yeah.
Like it's like illegal to take the currency. I was like, where am I?
That's funny.
And it is a communist country. Like, but it is.
It's the number one thing is like, how people, here's a good example.
Fantastic country.
Yeah, we love the experience in Cuba. It's great. Fantastic. It's the food quality could be a little higher, like depending where you go. But But what I wanted to say is if you're retired or you're unemployed, they're like, if you're out of the country, tell us because we won't send you your money. For retirement and unemployment, you have to have a Canadian address. So if you live in Cuba while you're retired or you're a thing, they won't send them.
Yeah, you lose your OHIP after 6 months of not being in the country.
Yeah,
which is a huge thing for a lot of Canadians because it's free medical.
Yeah, because you're paying taxes
for those that are watching in the car.
Yeah,
listening in the car. Sorry.
It's pretty big and it's pretty different.
So yeah, like we're just shooting the shits right now. Sorry for being candid and being honest, but like we're having a nice time. We're excited to show you what's happening throughout this podcast, and the food's going to be fantastic. So smell it.
But funny enough, let's transition to that, and let's cut into the food, and let's review it.
Sweet.
So, Ori, I want to get into this. Let's try their, I don't know how to say this. I think you got that. The other, it's not the bahbuha,
it's the mashwaya.
Mashwaya.
Something like that, yeah.
It's like grilled vegetables and stuff, and it looks amazing.
It is Tunisian style charred pepper and tomato.
There we go. I'm going to grab that some on this right now. Let's try it. Ooh, look at that.
If I get it on my shirt.
Oh, do not get it on your shirt. What is it, Mount
Rainier? It's in Washington.
You taste like the chard, like such a unique taste. It's like it's not like I prefer the makbuha. I'm more of a makbuha person, but some people would like really prefer this chard and bigger piece of what? Are you the other way? You like this one? You like this one over the makbuha?
No, different.
They're different. I don't know 100%, but I'm not saying from my point of view, I think I would have maybe gone with the mabuha.
Is it bad? I want to continue eating it.
No, it's a good thing. That means you like it. You would have been like, okay, 1 second.
Continue eating it.
That was amazing.
I feel like the beauty of this podcast is like, you're visually seeing us eat it, so you'll know off the reaction if it's going to be good or bad, and we won't lie about it.
I'm telling you, I'm going to throw up. Not throw up, but
on some episodes.
But thanks to the Hummussiah. We appreciate it. Great food. Great. So there's a salad, just to confirm, is there a salad dish? They have a small and large size. Amazing. Great. Can't complain.
Right downtown. Young and Dundas is down the street. Ryerson University students. This is your spot. I'm telling you, Pizza Shop is right beside. They're good. They do a different type of pizza. The Hummussiah, fantastic Middle Eastern food. Highly recommend it.
Especially if you're from the hood. I mean, in the hood, I mean like Middle Eastern. It's going to feel like home. It's going to feel like home.
It's like
it's a home.
Typically having like Lebanon or something.
Exactly.
Jordan, who knows?
Or Israel. Doesn't matter wherever it is, right? Anywhere in the world. But thanks again. We appreciate it. So, anyways, that's some good food. I really did enjoy the mashwaya.
We are so bad at pronunciating all of these dishes.
Help me, please.
We need someone on our team just to pronounce the food, like the edible talk, just to talk about how the food sounds.
Yeah, we need a professional, dialect.
Oh, let's do it. Dialoguer.
We'll just bring that. That would be the third person. He just comes out, his head pops out, be like. Maya Swaya. Maya Swaya.
You'll make a rap video or something at the end of this.
Perfect. So yeah, to also bring up back to school and about, the cost, right? Like I think the main thing is, you said it was like around 8,000 thing. That's just for the education, right? But then you also have to include like the books, the living costs and whatever. And on average costs like 20 to 30,000 per year, right? And if you're doing a 4 to 5 year degree, right, you're looking at over you're looking to spend over $100,000 at least, right? 100 to 200,000, or like if you're in the US, like up to 500 or 500,000, right?
I went to. Funny enough, you say that. It's like hysterical. I went to a school in upstate New York for a chiropractor, just to to view it. Maybe I want to become a chiro. Mm-hmm. We talked about being a chiro just before, and just kind of gave me that idea. And they're like, "Oh, we have great bank loans with RBC and Scotiabank for $275,000." I was like, mic drop. I cannot. No one, like, who can afford that? Like, it's insane. Like, you pay it off in like what, 10 years?
Crazy enough.
5 years? Saw a mortgage for what, 3 years of education.
But I just saw a stat saying that I think it said 1/3 of all Canadians are expecting to get $100,000 loan from their parents for their first home.
I believe
Excuse me?
How can we afford it right now? Like, unless you're really making a lot of money, and it's very expensive to live in the city of Toronto.
Of course.
And other cities are very expensive too, but at least firsthand experience.
Yeah, for Toronto, like cheap. I'm lucky I live in a 2-bedroom apartment, but I've had this place for 12 years, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm paying a fraction of the cost.
When he was 14, he got it.
No. not 14, but
he's very young.
I've lived, I've lived in this place very long, and I'm lucky to keep an old price change, because now the new auto is almost double the cost that I'm currently paying, and that's a big difference. And where you live or where most people live, they're paying at a 1-bedroom starter is like $1,500 to almost $2,000.
What's the stat? It says like you should not pay more than 1/3 of your salary.
No, that's all landlord documents, so you can't pay more than 1/3. Like they won't accept you. You want to be approved if it's more than 1/3 of your gross, not your net, your gross. Because that's still stupid. Because like, let's say you make 50,000. After that 50,000, you're only making 38. But they'll take 50,000, 1/3, so you can pay up to 20 something thousand. Oh, not 20. 18,000 a year, right? So or a little less, 17,000, right? So then that means you can't pay more than like $1,300 a month. And what can you get for $1,300 if you're making 50,000?
Basement apartment.
Exactly, a basement
in the burbs. In the burbs.
A penthouse
in the burbs.
And that's the thing. Like I know a girl right now. She just moved in with 4 other girls downtown Toronto in a part. I'm like, 4 other girls. Like
that's the only way of lowering the cost.
I'm like,
that's the only way of lowering the cost. I remember university. I remember even in London. London is such cheap rent. I'm sure it's gone up now when it's inside. Of course, it's like good deal. People are on Kijiji or on Facebook Marketplace. They'd be like, really cheap apartment. $450. It's like, yeah, that's really cheap per month.
I had an apartment in Sudbury, Ontario.
Wow.
I paid $800 a month for a full 1-bedroom apartment on the top 4th floor, funny enough.
Really?
Yeah. And
wow.
And I was lucky, and I had a balcony and I had everything, and it was like $789, so $800.
Yeah, which is a lot more than what like you.
I don't know how much it is today. It could be $1,000, $1,500.
Could be.
Who knows?
It could be easily.
And because there's limited buildings down there. But anyways, to get to the point, like, is it worth it to spend $100,000 to $500,000, depending if you can in the US, right? And like, can't you just learn this online, like using like some random online, like
I saw TikTok. Funny enough, I saw like I'm learning stuff. It may not be accurate, but on TikTok, these really interactive videos. I saw this one TikTok, and I can't remember the exact site it was, but it was once you want to apply for a job, it matches, and online I would say like it will match on LinkedIn the percentage of what they want. So say you have like PowerPoint skills, so you have social media skills, etc. So it using this website, it automatically finds the keywords. So it matches. So say you want to work for Microsoft, so you have a 20% chance of, because it matches it. With this application online website, it gives like a 90% chance. And even if you have a horrible resume, you can get in the door, which is a huge.
I need that. Hey, sign me up.
I saved it, so I'll send it to you later on.
So, but yeah, that's you're talking about a resume. It's a system.
It's like a resume builder.
It's not just a builder. It's a computer that reads your resume and then matches the words. Right. It's like a matching system. So yeah, like if there's a cheat code, it's not a cheat code. It's not cheat code. It helps you.
It's a tool. It's there.
But not even a resume, right? Because like that, you won't even be able to walk in the door if you don't have a college degree, because they kind of like, especially if it's an entry level.
Some things, yeah.
The
running joke in my family is what you get a PhD. Oh yeah, you can become a barista at Starbucks.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, whoa, you studied for 12 years, but wait, you can only make coffees?
I know people who have master's degree working at Subway, making Subways.
And that's the reality that we live in, and it's sad to see it. You know,
I'm not even talking about today. I'm talking about things in the past like 5 years, 10 years.
We've seen the food apps explode like crazy, and every Joe Schmo is on the bike or on the scooter trying to make money. They probably have a master's or an undergrad
or even a bachelor, whatever it is. But like in general terms, taking that money and like investing into like these online classes that you can educate. Like here's a good example, right? If you're into technology, right, but you went to school, you're like, I'm going to do computer science, I'm going to do this, I'm going to build my own apps. You're going to spend $100,000 or plus
for sure
after 4 or 5 years. Sure. But there's Microsoft servers, SQL. I don't know if you know what that is, but
you can tell me about it afterwards, unless you want to tell the
but yeah, just quickly, SQL is what most servers are built off, right? Like Microsoft servers. So if you're building a server, you need to know how to do SQL, and there's other languages. But SQL is one of the biggest thing in the world, right? Like people worldwide, servers are still using it today, right? And I'm guessing you know what a server. If you don't know what a server is a place where you save data. So it can be websites, information for work, all that. So just to give you a brief overview. You can go take a class. It costs $10,000. They give you 6 different classes, right? You learn it over 6 months, right? Or 10 classes.
Is this BrainStation? Like one of those like private institutions? Is it?
No,
is it
it's hosted by it's a certified thing by Microsoft.
Oh, cool.
So you go to these, you learn it, you pay $10,000, whatever it is. These are super hard classes, but if you can master them, your beginning income is over 100,000 to 150. Beginning. My buddy works this specific job. He learned it years ago. He lives in Australia. He makes over 350,000 a year, and he gets paid in US dollars.
Sign me up.
It's not an easy job, right? It's not an easy job because, funny enough, he lives in Australia, and there's only 6 places in Australia with Microsoft servers. So he has to go to the airport. He gets flown to a place. He gets flown back, and he gets paid per the minute getting onto a plane.
Yeah, it's work.
I know, and he gets paid.
It sounds like what I used to do, but like actually paid for. But funny enough, what's kind of crazy is I feel like the job market's obviously crazy difficult right now for everyone in any field, and the ones that were making $500,000, $350,000 a year, and now because of a pay cut of 10 or 20%, that's a huge takeaway from their cut in their lifestyle, and that's a big thing that people don't understand. That if you make 300,000, like so you make next year you make 250, you made 350 last year, your spending has just changed, and the whole like market for what you're gonna do is just not the same. But do you feel that because there's so many tech people in the world, that the market's becoming more saturated and becoming more difficult? Like how many people want to work at Facebook, and how many Facebook jobs are there available to actually take those people?
I mean, that's kind of that. Toronto's going to be having that issue very shortly because Amazon and is it Microsoft or is it Apple? Someone, Shopify. I don't know.
Shopify's expanding like crazy here.
There's Amazon's for sure is one of them, but there's a second big company that's coming. I can't remember what it was.
Big 4?
I mean, they're all coming, right? Because Toronto is the hub, right, for a lot of these companies.
And partially it's cheaper. Like they're paying in Canadian dollars, and the Canadian dollar is cheaper as a whole. And there's
so instead of 150,000 US, it's 150,
which makes a difference when you times it by 10,000 people.
Of course, because they're hiring 8,000 people, right? So 8,000 jobs,
a lot of money.
And extra, even if you save 10%, right, on 8,000 people,
a lot of money.
On average, 50,000 a year. That's a lot of money. But anyway, so that's coming into the system. They're putting a lot more jobs into the system. Cool. But the problem is now they're going to make a bigger difference between the 1% and the 99%. I know I'm making the biggest difference. They might be top 10 or 20%, but they're making a bigger issue because now a lot of people are going to get paid a lot higher. The problem now, what's going to happen is condos. They need more condos. So Amazon has bought out places to buy condos for their employees. So, and there might be importing people into the Canadian. So
they will. Immigrants.
There's so many
high tech.
Or people from the US, right? So wherever it is. So they're going to be bringing people in. This is going to cause more issues. It's going to be the money issue is going to be a big problem,
and
right?
Pre-COVID, I mean, Toronto has been in the recent years insanely growing with its tech bubble.
Right.
And the Canadian government, I think, my opinion, was too late to push tech. They should have done 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and put more money into it back then. And now they're pushing
25, but
even look at Israel, for example, and Startup Nation. It's known as a country that's
the biggest tech company.
But they knew tech was going to be a big thing back years ago, years prior to the big markets. And I think Toronto is doing a fantastic job. Don't get me wrong, but there's always room for improvement, and they are now pushing more money and spending into innovation and technology. I think it's very important.
100%. I think it's better late than never, right? Because we should have been 20 years ago, right? But I think
just the blueprints, just the.
But imagine if that happened. Now a condo that costs $500,000 is going to be $1 million if they came out 20 years ago.
The condos are actually cheaper now because of COVID. And just in this current market right now, they've gone down, and because people want to leave the city.
You also have to remember one thing. You say they go down, but I was looking at. I'm looking to buy one, right? Sure. That's one of the big things that I'm trying to do right now, and it went up originally, right, in the beginning of the year. And then it did go down, but it didn't go down the same amount that it originally went up. You know what I mean? So let's say it went up 20%. It only went down 10% from that 20.
I'm no realtor, so I don't know. But
you get what I'm saying. It's a very
last article I read, it could be wrong, is that it's gone down a little bit more than it used to.
100%, exactly. It went down.
It's like $500,000. So don't get me wrong.
Exactly.
It's a lot of money.
And the thing is, the ones that went down is the ones that were 1.2 million. Now they're $1 million. I'm like, does that make you in the market now?
It's still $1 million that you got to find somehow. Well,
exactly. Hey, mommy, daddy, do you have 100,000 I can borrow?
We should have the donation link for us so Dave can get his first condo.
Yes, please. donate down below. DeeJayDaveK at gmail.com, my PayPal.
Go fund me.
But you see, I think that kind of like turns into like a main thing that we have. Like we're saying, you spend all this money, right? Like I spent over $100,000 over 5 years going to university, right?
Sure.
If I took that money and reinvested into ourselves, like what we're doing now, right? You know, Foodie On The Loose, DeeJayDaveK. I used to run a company previously, right? It was a tech company for like, I made websites, I made software development, building systems for my customers.
That's a lot of money.
I was making a decent amount of money for a 17-year-old kid back then. And now, of course, coming back, trying to get your customers back are really hard. When you lose a customer, it's hard to like bring back your customers, right? And
you're competing with the big players that have a huge system,
but the problem is
network and everything.
Back then, there was like Best Buy, whatever, and they would charge premium rates, like $500.
Geek Squad is like their premium thing, right?
Right, but now their Geek Squad is not that expensive. It's $100, $129.
For what? How would you get? I've never actually gone to Geek Squad stuff.
So it depends, like if you're trying to fix something, if it's ruined or whatever. But most like Geek Squad is part of a warranty system now, right? You just pay a warranty system, $8 a month or $10 a month or $20. So most people are like $20, that's nothing. Like, you know, I'll write that off, you know, whatever. So I think most of these companies are no longer like to hire me and spend $1,000 on me versus like, oh, I pay Geek Squad $20 a month for warranty, or I can pay them $200 and they'll do this whole setup because I bought a TV from them. I bought this,
No, it makes sense.
So it kind of gives you a deal. But imagine like if you could take that money, $100,000, and reinvest it into yourself. I understand it's not the same way, right? Because that's over, but an extra $20,000 in your pocket right now instead of what you were doing, right? Well, like
we need to have like the dreaming, like the bubbles coming up over my head right
like,
now, thinking like, what could I do with that money? Like, what like if you were given $100K right now, would you start? You'd probably start a business. Like if
I had $100K, I would.
Other than buying his condo, like he would like.
If I had an additional $100,000 that I could use towards myself. Of course, I wouldn't put all $100,000 right away, but I would invest at least $10,000 to $20,000 into into like building a proper website, just like everything I need. Of course, making a business plan to like I guess like the main thing I would do like is business consulting and marketing consulting and tech consulting.
It's smart.
And like there's not a lot in it, but there's also like I need to buy tools and equipment for like technology, like from wiring and stuff like that, because I've done that in the past and I can like
even it's crazy, but I love phones and stuff and cameras in the sense of like photography, because that's like my thing is food styling and food photography. And I'm always on the fritz, basically going, should I buy a brand new DSLR Sony mirrorless, like a mirrorless camera, or should I just buy an iPhone? And number one thing, iPhone. Don't even. I mean, yes, it's good to have multiple things if you can afford it, but I primarily, most of my content is shot on an iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is because you're always so on the go, right? You're not in the sense like you're not a YouTuber, right? You're not a YouTuber that you record something, you go on your computer, you edit it, you do that. You're on the go.
True.
So what you need is something with a
compatible,
phone.
easy, fast.
Yeah, exactly. And a phone with 250 gigs or 500 plus gig. You're plenty. You'll be good for years to come.
You're telling me recently that the GoPro is like what a lot of vloggers are starting to use now. I know there's some Sony ones that are very compact, like the mirrorless ones, and even the other Sony's digital cameras. But you're saying like GoPro is a 4K, it shoots 4K. People, it's compact, it's very small.
Exactly,
like,
and it's $400.
Is it true that a lot of the vloggers are using it to help?
The main thing, especially the new GoPro 9 that just came out, it has an amazing mic. They improved the mic.
Can you please give us a GoPro?
Please, we'll use 5 GoPros. We need 360 GoPros. We'll see. You can see the back of our head.
I saw the ad, Insta360. It's like 2 cameras. It has a 360 camera. Hey.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was by GoPro? No,
it's like not by GoPro, but hey.
Yeah, I mean, but that's we would have to put it right here.
Oh my god, to see the back of my ear.
See like it's like
the entire
it's weird
shooting.
Because like no one wants to see the back of my office, or that or this or whatever. They just want to see
my hair, the back of my hair,
exactly.
or something.
But it would be really cool to like get that involved, because I would love to have a camera right here and a camera right here to see in your face.
It's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's just is like the first episode. This is the start of the
100%.
episode. We're still learning.
But the mic quality is like huge and big, and it's like improvement. Right, like, and I think that's what they're doing, because the GoPro 8, the one that you have, or do you have 7?
I have the 7 Black. You have the 7. Fantastic. So I think it's a great camera.
So the 8 that they have,
minor difference.
100%. But they were promoting that as a vlogger camera when it first came out. So all the big vloggers, like Casey Neistat, and a bunch of other ones. Casey Neistat is the biggest one I can think of right now. All went to this like retreat. They got sent to this like water park retreat, and it was waterproof. So they would like go down slides holding it, making a vlog out of it.
Why not? These are like the best creators in the world.
Exactly. And when I saw the quality, I was like, shit, like if you, of course, Casey Neistat is like a different level because he does like the most, like he just broke a $3,000 camera the other day, not camera, just a lens, a $3,000 lens.
His gear is but he's making,
but he's a whole different level, right? Compared to most people, he's at the most premium, right?
But do you think, I mean, there's lots of vloggers, lots of YouTubers out there, lots of anything content creators out there. Do you think it's as easy as taking your phone, just like getting a tripod and getting a light and doing it? Do you think it's that easy?
It is that easy.
I watch sometimes makeup videos. You laugh because I just want to see how they do the edits and everything. And I'm like, it's so simple, but it's so complicated at the same time. They make it look so easy.
Did I ever bring up a YouTuber called Goon Squad? Did I ever bring that up previously? Never. No. So Goon Squad is these two guys. I think they're Russian or like European, Slavic. European? Yeah, because their moms were like, "Look, I make borscht, yummy." And I was like, "Are they Russian?" They never, but they have a redneck accent. Like, "Hey, how you guys doing?" Like, this is that. And I'm like, "Oh shoot!" I'm like, they have no accent, no like European accent, but their parents do, right? So yeah, long story short, all they did is took their iPhone. This is how they record. Hey, brother, record, fix that tire. And he's holding his camera like this. And he's like, yo, we just got the new iPhone 11 Pro. Check this out. Oh, yeah. Everything's recorded. The microphone, the video, everything off their phone. And you know how many followers they have? Like 2-3 million. They have millions. And they're selling their content and they only use an iPhone. They do everything on an iPhone.
It's crazy.
Download Splice, download the thing, put it together, you're done.
So you can do the free stuff and sometimes it's worth, like I pay for Canva. Canva, if you don't know what it is, it's this amazing $1 billion app.
Yeah.
And
no, not billion. Can't be billion. Is it billion?
No, Google it. Search it up. It's $1 billion app.
Really? Is it Canva now $1 billion?
It's valued at that. It could be.
Is it valued at $1 billion?
Right now, later on. But basically, I use Canva and it's so, it makes it the user experience, any Joe Schmo can go online and piece together something amazing.
$6 billion?
Sorry, I apologize. It's actually $6 billion if you wanted to know.
Design app, Canva, doubles evaluation, $6 billion.
I think it's based on Australia. I think it's from Australia. They found her like genius. And it makes content creation so much easier.
2019 was 3.2 billion. What?
Yeah. This is like download.
How about that website that I showed you the other day, Crelio, I think?
Which is also cool.
Same thing. It like has this like cool like designing. You can moving aspects. Like we're having a post on. We're having a giveaway that you most likely missed, but. In general terms, it's we use Crelio for that to make a really sick video for our.
How long would it take you to make it? Realistically, how long would it take actually to make it? If you weren't even,
I had to edit it. Like I had to Photoshop that image, but like less than 30 minutes.
Like could anyone really, if you spent enough time on it, figure it out?
Yeah, 100%. Like if you have some basic knowledge on like how to understand like dragging, dropping, and kind of putting things together,
copy paste.
Easy.
That's cool. So then.
Yeah, so
Canva's cool. There's lots of good apps out there. Anyone basically can create their content and become famous or go viral.
I mean, I think the main thing is like we have there's people that I know, right, who are on TikTok and YouTube, and like a guy that I know recently. His name's Grant the Goat. He started off with, last time I saw, he had 400,000 followers.
Greatest of all time, Goat.
Like, Goat, that's part of his thing. Goat, Goat. So it just says Goat. Grant the Goat. So he always he's the goat of Fortnite. He's a really good player. He's a really good. So everyone calls themselves the goat these days, especially kids under the age of like.
Is there like ranking that shows you how many kills, how many deaths?
Yeah, online. You go like to FortniteTracking.com or .net or whatever.
There's someone right now at the top level always.
Yeah, there's gonna be one person up there. Yeah.
And is it up there by like a big difference?
So there's winning. There's like you can rank by people by winning, solo wins, right? Like Ducky the Gamer is like up there, right? Like I know you guys don't have any clue about this, but it's pretty much people who play Fortnite on mobile, and these guys are like the best content creators for the platform for Fortnite mobile. But what I wanted to say is he started off on YouTube. He had 400,000. He made TikTok.
How many thousands?
Only 400,000.
Oh, no big deal.
But then he started making content about like a TikTok clan, like a clan or a team, to join a team. And he's like, hey, and he pretends like he's a loser, right? And he's like, hey, hey, you guys are so cool with 10,000 followers. Let me join. And they're like, okay, let's check you out. And he would play like on a fake account, like playing with them. And he's like, how are you kicking our asses right now? Like you're playing. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. It says mobile. I'm really a PC player. He's like, you must be hacking. So long story short, he made content. He grew from 400,000 to 1.7 million in 4 months. He quadrupled his following during COVID. How insane is that? Just like fathom that. Like
not taking anything away from him. I feel like now more than ever, people are home and on their devices. So
100%.
It definitely helps.
100%.
It definitely helped. Even my brand, it helped like crazy because people are actually home. Because if I was hitting them up when I'm traveling or when I'm going when they're traveling or when they're not home, it makes it a lot more complicated.
100%. But I'm just saying,
respect for that, man.
I'm just saying, like, crazy. It's crazy because most of these kids are like dropping out of university, college, and just to do this, and like instead of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars into something that you'll just like, you know, Ducky the Gamer. I remember I was seeing him on the stream, and he was saying that, you know, his first year, I think he said the first like 6 months he spent like tens of thousands of dollars to go to school, and then he dropped out. So at least he was able to get the second half back.
These are some successes that are like exceptional. Like I highly don't recommend dropping out. If you're already in your fourth year, please just finish up.
No, I'm not.
Third year, finish up. Like just do it. Get the degree, get the diploma, get whatever you're studying. If you don't like it, if you hate it, that's another story.
Yeah.
If you get bullied, God forbid, if something else happens in throughout your experience, yes, there's circumstances, but like really think hard before you make your next steps, and anything you do can make an impact on your life.
100%. Yeah, no, I'm saying, again, I'm not saying drop out of school, but I'm saying if you're having a lot of attention, like if you somehow grew to 1 million followers in 6 months and you're trying to do school and this 1 million, and you're making, let's say $10,000 a month or 5,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 a month, that's how much you're going to make on a regular McDonald's, more than a McDonald's job or whatever, right? And so like, I think it's things, because school's always going to be there for you, right? If you graduated the classes, you still have those classes. Those classes are still under your belt. Yeah. So it's really important to like see where you are. I'm not saying make a drastic, I'm going to become a YouTuber and have millions of followers. No, it doesn't work like that, right? You have to take everything in progression and like work through it and make a game plan. Don't just like jump in like, I'm going to become a YouTuber today, because that won't work.
Very interesting.
So yeah, and like, you know, one of my notes is like, it doesn't come overnight, right? That's the number one thing, right? Nothing comes overnight. A lot of hard work, a lot of hard time. And it's really, really important for you to spend the time that is needed to develop your brand, right? You can build a brand while being in school, right? I'm building, you know, we're building this podcast. You're building your Foodie On The Loose. We're doing this podcast. You're busy. You have family. You have a father. You have grandparents. I have
friends,
family, whatever. And it's super, super difficult, right? Like nothing is easy.
And that's the hard part. I am pursuing this full time, meaning I go every single day. If you look at my page or stories, I look for content creation.
If you want free food giveaways, make sure you follow Foodie On The Loose.
Definitely give you some free food out there if you come with me or join me with the fun. But he works 9 to 5, actually 8 to 6 or crazy hours. I text him.
I'm a manager. I'm a manager of a manufacturing company, so like I'm on call even right now, hypothetically.
Yeah, and so if I feel like, yes, I have it maybe easier, but still like he has to put like, it takes time. Everyone has 24 hours in the day. Even if you're waking up at 5 in the morning, you still, I feel like you don't have enough time in the day to accomplish everything that you wanted to.
100%.
And sometimes you don't feel like it. Like you just don't want to do it the next day or the day after that. And it's hard to
motivate yourself.
Exactly.
It's a motivation. It's like same thing when somebody goes to the gym, right?
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of hard work.
And that's why we hit it off. Because like I motivate you sometimes and you motivate me sometimes on some days. Like I'm like low or down. And that's why like it's like the end all is going to, we know it's going to be a bigger picture.
Of course. And you have to, the number one thing is, I think, I even think I have Gary V something here. It's very important to like, it's very important to build a plan, but also projections where you're going to be. Like you projected yourself to be 10,000 followers, right? And I was like, hey man, you're going to hit 10,000 in 6 months if you consistently do this. And you did it. You did it in less than, that period of time. And it's like, for me, it's like, I remember when I was like, I'm going to hit my first 1,000 followers. I'm going to hit my first 2,000 followers.
Huge.
And then it just kind of ripples effects after, right? So it's just really important.
Once you already have a base or a following, people will tell their friends and their friends and their friends. And the algorithm, if I believe correctly, it kind of it
helps you. It gives you a little push. It pushes you a little.
It pushes you a little bit. It shows your content as opposed to other people that are
starts
smaller.
with good interactions. Yeah.
If you have good engagement, which is we can
really
talk about for
forever.
A full episode. Literally, I think it should be a full episode of just engagement, because engagement is on its own the hardest
likes,
thing. The
hardest followers.
People think it's only
comments.
likes. It's not true. It's likes, saves,
It's
shares.
also how long you watch a video, how long you share that video, how long you're gonna.
It's true.
Because if like a lot of people are like, yo, share my video, share my video, share my video,
2 seconds of it.
and they only watch 2 seconds, but it doesn't help the algorithm. It
Yes,
even like
please, guys, watch our podcast if you like
watch
to look
for at
at
least 5
us.
to 10 minutes, then share.
Download it if you can download it. Is that possible on Spotify and Apple?
I think you can download it offline on Apple and then Spotify. And then, I mean, you can use whatever sources you want on YouTube to download onto your computer if you must, instead of watching it on YouTube. But yeah, the part of the Gary Vee thing, what I was saying, right? Like people
Are you shouting him out right now?
I mean, Gary Vee's always a shout out, right?
Yeah, every episode.
Every episode, right? He's going to be part of our conversations consistently until he's on the show. And then I'm like, nah, we don't have to show him. I'm not kidding. But it's like he's one of the main people who's out there who's doing the social media game right, in a sense. Because what he was doing, since he was also trapped at home, he was giving 1 hour free advice per day. So at 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time, he would go live on video and educate his followers and viewers, being like, hey, you have your own business, Foodie On The Loose. What are you doing? You're like, oh, I have my own Instagram. I blame my 10,000. And he's like, what else do you do? You're like, oh, that's it. And he's like, why aren't you on TikTok? Why aren't you on YouTube? Why aren't you on this? I understand. How much time do you have? Did you take a poop today? Go do it in your poop. Did you, what'd you do? Did you watch 2 hours of Netflix? That's cool. If you want to go watch 2 hours of Netflix, but don't complain to me if you did not, if you want to grow your business and you're like, I watched 3 hours of Netflix. He
talks about overnight success. It's like, guys, how many times you get hit up? Hey, how did you make that viral video?
Yeah,
like
a million times.
Like people all the time. How do you do it? It's very simple. You sit down, you post a video, you post a story or whatever it is you're special in or specific in, and you just do it again and again and
repetition,
again.
And just putting it out there.
And crazy enough, this is our 4th episode. If we get to 20 episodes, which I hope we do, like the fact that we've learned from our first episode,
big difference.
Like, even
the quality of the mic,
the better camera, the better lighting, the better like situation, the setup, like everything's gonna be faster, and it becomes easier. So repeat it, do it again,
repetition,
and just keep on like getting in your head like it's meant to be somehow.
I agree with you. I think that's a big thing. So Ori, I've been looking at this, like it's all this vegan. Like we just tried the, I can't say it, man. Say it again. The other thing that we just Hummussiah, and now we're trying the warm hummus salad. I think it's the chopped salad, the Hummussiah and salad. I was right. Oh my god, hummus and salad. I thought it was something else.
We're thinking some crazy fancy names.
Yeah, the other one was Mediterranean salad, so I thought it was maybe that, but it's it's really it's right there. But I want us to try this to see how it is. And let's try it. Let's see how it is. I'm excited. We know how their hummus tastes like. It's amazing, but
I've never had hummus and salad together in the same kind of thing. Like,
so funny enough, I had like tahini and stuff, but I've never had it. Yeah, exactly. I've never had it together.
I forced it together.
Sorry. So you can see there's a cucumber, there's chickpeas, there's red onions, there's tomatoes, there's poppy seeds, there's tahini in it, and hummus. Right? Oh my god. Just have to say, this was cooked like an hour ago, and I feel like it tastes better now. Right?
The whole thing we can talk about it in one of our podcast episodes. Pizza hot or pizza cold? Like this is something that you can have warm and cold. I love
Especially it's a salad and hummus, right?
It's healthy. There's so much protein in this food, and like I don't feel fat after this. I don't feel like I'm gaining weight.
No. You know the worst thing is when you eat this kind of like you eat food. Like if I went to any pizza joint and I ate more than a few slices of pizza, if I ate a whole slice of pizza, if I give you another whole slice of pizza, a whole pizza, can you eat it?
No. I mean, don't get me wrong. Too much hummus is too much, but this is like just a perfect amount. And I'm sampling. I'm tasting different things.
And they can give you rice. They can give you like fries. Oh, the makbucha fries that we tried. Oh my god, we gotta bring that out.
Guys. They have this hummus, which is a hummus, like a cake. It's out of stock right now, but stay tuned because in the next couple episodes we're gonna bring it out, and you guys will see it firsthand, and you're gonna come afterwards and have it.
Yeah, we love it. Thanks to the Hummussiah. We appreciate them. We love you guys. Tom, Daniel, thank you.
Back home in our spot. Same corner.
Yeah, back corner. We love this corner. It's gonna be our corner. And back to the time. So yeah, talking about Gary Vee starting your business and all that, and how it's very important to motivate yourself, right? I think also what you were saying about like you and I, right? We motivate each other. So like right now we have a partnership for the Edible Talk, right? We're bringing two different influencers, two different businesses, two different things to make one cohesion product, right? And the Edible Talk is coming to this, and people are loving it, right? A lot of people that have been engaged. We have like out of all platforms and wherever, we have over like 1,000 engagement.
I think it's important that we're different people, but we have sort of the same idea of what we want in the long term, and
of course
we want this growth naturally and
become a billionaire. We sell Canva for $6.4 billion.
Hopefully, I'd resell it. No, but but what you're saying is very true. Like you motivate me and I motivate you, and we're different. And that's a sense like we're both crazy in our own ways, but we connect. And
also
in a very
like
personal level, we connect on a very personal level.
The funny thing is, we just had a fight earlier. Funny enough,
we're like,
but I'm saying it's very important to say that like we're able to have a fight and at least still be able to move on from this point, right? Because some people are going to be able to not move from where they are right now.
It's tough love. I wasn't trying to be mean or anything. Sometimes you say it how it is. And I don't, maybe I'm saying it wrong.
I'm very objectively, right? For me, I always see the bigger picture. Yeah. So I always want to have a proper dynamic and a proper time schedule, because honestly, it took us 2 hours to record food, right?
But so my thing is like you always say is too, content is king and content is very important. And I think it's important that we just keep on pushing each other
quality versus quantity. And
always. But sometimes you might not have enough good quality shots. So it's going to tend to have enough
100%,
shots
right?
to make it
like our last video for our podcast, right? For the food that we recorded. There were some shots that weren't the greatest for the food because we were trying it out. It was our first new idea, and we have to adapt and learn and things.
Do you think it's important to connect it with people that's around you who socialize with, like as opposed to like good people and bad people, and like how it can make you as a person, as a brand, succeed to the next level?
Yeah, I think it's very important to like, you don't want to be bringing people who are toxic and like a lot of, because there's two types of influencers, right? You might see an influencer online, like hypothetically, I'm going to use her as an example, Charli D'Amelio, right? Charli D'Amelio is all happy and everything, but back she might be the most depressed person. It's
true.
And nobody wants to work with her, right? I'm just saying that could be a potential, right? Or, whoever it is, because there are some people that you see them on the, hi, whatever, like Logan Paul, right? Logan Paul is a good example of someone who's energetic on camera, but also energetic and offline, but he's an introvert. Funny enough, he's a person. Yeah. So he's like, no, I like my own spot. I like my own space, and I like my own thing.
Which is important.
It is very important. But he'll engage with his followers and all that. But it's also important for him to have his, like, he doesn't like to just, if he wants his own time, he wants his own time. So it's like, it's really important to like.
So true.
So you have to like, again, like your energy has to match your personalities, a lot of things like, but again, you could be a low personality and be high and you'd be like still great, right?
Like it meshes, like kind of,
it meshes, right? There has to be a good mesh, right?
And that's why like we are an example of people that are
exactly, but we also know each other and we play sports together and we understand.
I think sports are a huge push in why we're able to connect.
Pre-COVID,
not anymore. Like you're in my bubble, and like I don't have anyone else in my bubble really, except for my immediate family,
of course,
which is like important. Anyways, let's get into the other stuff that we have to talk about.
Yeah, so I guess the main thing for us is it was that other company, right? That other YouTuber, that girl who's a keto, right? She found her niche. She makes Keto Cert, or it's Keto Cert. We can like throw her logo up here or something.
Right there. That's why we have a videographer.
And she started with like a few thousand followers, and she makes videos every day of keto desserts.
Wrong. She started with 0 followers, unless she has famous before.
But then from there, I saw her recommended on the YouTube list, and from there, and I saw her from 4,000 to, I think she most likely hit 100,000, because last time we checked was 98,000, and she's been growing like thousands per day.
Are her videos like the quick ones where it shows you like how to make it fast?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
I tried doing that on IG Reels just now for a brand, and I was like, this is so complicated.
But I made a bunch of them.
And they make it look so easy. I saw a video of the keto skirts, right? And it's like so well done, so well put together.
She has a big kitchen, a really nice,
and it helps you. She's using that to her advantage. Yeah, it's really helpful with what you have in your environment and who's around you, and what you can do with what the tools you have.
Yeah, and I think that's really important because and if you're at home, you're making these anyway for your kids, for your husband, your wife,
connect the camera,
your boyfriend, whoever it may be, or for yourself even, right? True. And they're healthier desserts, right? In the sense like there's not pure sugar into it, right? So in general terms, I think it's really important just to be consistent, right? She made videos every day, and now making videos every day made her blow to 100,000 again during COVID. So in the past 6 months, so there is
take the
stories.
Negative to the positive. Exactly. And I think people are like, oh, I lost my job. Yes, I lost my job. And yes, I'm fortunate enough that I'm able to do what I'm doing with people that support me and love me. Because there's a lot of families and people out there that need to do what they have to do to get there.
But also one other thing I'm going to say back to Gary Vee, but this is how I also say it. If your parents are being negative about it, like, what is social media? I don't know what social media is. Social media is bad. You should do a 9-to-5 job. Yeah. Make the money. Da, da, da,
why are you not a lawyer? Why are you not a doctor?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's very like the old way, because today is like you have to make money online, and that is the way that you're going to grow in a substantial way. But I think the main thing to kind of bring this to the end is
what's like the take home.
The take home is like we both school and online is very important. I say always build an online brand. That's for me. Even if you're like, oh, I'm just a massage therapist, I'm just making art, I'm just a scientist, I'm just build your following, build 10 followers, build 100 followers, do whatever you need to do. And just
whatever you do in life, whether it's social or not, think about it. Don't rush. Really think about what your goal is at the end of the day, and you can really set your mind to anything.
Yeah, you can
anything in the world, and that's something that people don't be overwhelmed by going to university or college. Just make sure that you make the decision for yourself on what your career path is, not someone else's career path.
And I think just to finish it off for that final question I like to ask at the end of the episode is. What did you want to be when you were a kid? You know, honestly, what did you want to be when you were a kid? Because
don't laugh, but all my family says I want to become a garbage dump, like the garbage truck guy. Like,
I think, what are they called right now? They're called, it's not called garbage
custodians
man. Custodian of something.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're being polite, but they make good money. I mean, it's good money.
You make 60 to 70,000 starting. Like, hey, and you get benefits.
Definitely a smelly job, but hey.
You just wear your N95 mask. But for me, the funny thing is I always wanted to be an actor myself, right? That was my number one thing when I was a kid. If you ask anyone, I want to be an actor, a singer, or whatever. And from there, I kind of grew to... I went to some auditions and I did well, but the thing is, it was it's not profitable, right? And it takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication to get to where you need to be. But I think by me doing this and being an online live person,
this is acting.
Exactly, 100%.
We're not acting. This is real, but you can call it it's a form of acting. It's a form of film.
Yeah, of course. It's a form of acting. 100%.
I've never done a podcast in my life, so this is totally news to me. They're explaining to me all these technical terms. I'm like. English. What is
ISO? What is
gain? Anyways,
but so
I want to say that was a really good episode.
I really like that. I think that was a lot. We hit education. We hit
so many topics.
Elections.
If you liked it, please, Dave, can you please tell us?
Yeah. So I think the number one thing is we want to thank the Hummussiah. Hummussiah, thank you so much again for the food, for the host. Thank you for everything that you guys did for us. We'd also like to shout out Gary Vee, because Gary Vee has always been a true person that, we can throw Gary Vee right here somewhere, his big, beautiful cartoon head. And from there, Ori, would you like to say the final thoughts?
Please hit the subscribe, like, and share button at the bottom. I always see the YouTubers do it, so I got to do the same.
Yeah. So if you are watching us on YouTube, please do hit that like button. Please do leave a comment if you can, and share it. We really do appreciate it. We want to gain our followers. I think we're at 10 followers right now, but we will gain there.
I think it's 11. I want to check.
It might be 12, 13, 14. Who knows?
But if you're driving.
But if you are driving and you're listening to us on either Spotify or Apple Music, maybe at this point point, we might be on different platforms, but make sure to subscribe to the Edible Talk, and make sure to leave a comment review if you can, preferably 5 stars, because we want that 5-star review. We want to be featured as #1 top. Imagine we get.
But
featured.
we also want to hear what you have, any ideas.
Exactly. If you
thoughts.
do, hit us on Twitter, hit us on Instagram, hit us on through our email. Everything will be listed below. We really do appreciate all your, everyone watching, everyone listening, and thanks again for all your love, your support, and Hummussiah.
Dankeschön.
Dankeschön. Peace out, bro. I hope you enjoyed our podcast. Make sure you hit that follow button and follow us on all platforms, The Edible Talk. Thank you.